The importance of success rings through the hallways of our minds, much like that bell that rings in high school right before the class that you forgot to do your homework in. Some of y'all sound guilty, so you know what I mean when I say that right when you think you're on a roll in the class that you're in, there is a harsh and clear reminder of your shortcomings that make an appearance. And that bell that rings is constantly telling you that you are supposed to succeed, the things that you are supposed to do to be successful. Do your homework, obey the speed limit, chew with your mouth closed, don't play with fire, get a good job, make a lot of money, be successful. These are the sounds of the bells that ring in the hallway of our mind all of the time. But when the bells stop ringing and the silence falls, you're left there alone in the hallway without your homework, wondering, is this really what it's all about? Sure, you should do your homework. You should obey the speed limit. You should please chew with your mouth closed. But never will I ever suggest that you don't play with fire. You see, I have this theory about fire, but before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about why. The last few years of my life have been a really interesting journey. I've always envisioned myself as this potential poster child for success. I got the grades, I led the clubs, I was somehow homecoming queen. I went to college, I studied my courses, and I decided, unfortunately, like most misguided millennials in Appalachia, that if I wanted to succeed, I had to get out of this place. Sure, it was where I was raised. Sure, it's the place that molded me. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, sure, it was good enough for them. But if I wanted to succeed, it was not going to be good enough for me. So I packed my bags in my red Mustang with the leaky convertible top, and I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, because it takes a place like that for a person to be successful. Except when I got out there, I realized that the only thing I was being successful at was missing the one place that I could not wait to get away from. My favorite parts of summers back home always consisted of my friends, my family, our instruments, and sitting around a campfire. I'm not really sure if anyone has told you guys or not, but summers in the desert are really hot. And there aren't a lot of trees laying around to cut up into firewood, so campfires were pretty few and far between for me out there, which led me to miss my favorite part of summer and ultimately one of my favorite parts of being home. So needless to say, it didn't take real long till I scooted back to Kentucky, but I still had this skewed perception of what success looked like. So whenever I moved back, I became an account executive at one of the largest television conglomerates in the nation, and daggone it, I was doing it. I had the job, I was making the money, and I was doing the work of a successful person. Except I was just as miserable and lost as I was on the 101 loop in Phoenix, Arizona, because I hadn't found my fire. After years of fighting this vision of success that I had, I finally realized that perhaps success is not as important and can only come from finding your fire. It took leaving a job, losing another, burying a friend, shattering relationships, and completely losing touch with myself to realize what my fire was. My fire is the same thing that grounds me. It's the same thing that makes me feel like I am flying through the night sky like a burning ember from a crackling fire. My fire is sharing my stories, my memories, my thoughts, and my fears with people like you through the voice that I was given and the music that I make. I wrote a song called Build a Fire. Surprise. And it's about the very first man who created fire and what that must have been like for him. And I'm sure he wanted to share it with his friends. And I think that that's what ignited this hunger throughout mankind to find their own fire as well. So here's Build a Fire. So many years out some clothes, rub two sticks together to ignite a flaming light. And good God, can you imagine the thoughts that crossed his mind when the flames that grew so big and burned up every stick he'd find, that he was living his whole life to build a fire. You can learn a lot about a man by the way he builds a fire. You can learn to turn your head and walk away to go to sleep. But if you stay awake a little while, we can bust the night wide open, 'cause morning's just around the corner waiting there on me. He taught his friends a thing or two about what they need to burn, but it seems to me his commodity was the hardest thing to learn. But nobody was as pleased as he who found the fire first, 'cause it ain't as good if it ain't all yours, and that feeling's just the worst. So they were living their whole lives to build a fire. You can learn a lot about a man by the way he builds a fire. You can learn to turn your head and walk away to go to sleep. But if you stay awake a little while, we can bust the night wide open, 'cause morning's just around the corner waiting there on me. Some woman gathered round him, thinking he could cook her corn. And in the middle of the coldest night, maybe he could keep her warm. But no woman's worth the dirt below her feet without her own fire from inside her, till she's built it, till it's grown. Then she was living her whole life to build a fire. You can learn a lot about a man by the way he builds a fire. You can learn to turn your head and walk away to go to sleep. But if you stay awake a little while, we can bust the night wide open, 'cause morning's just around the corner waiting there on me. These days we find ourselves just throwing gasoline to burn. There's not many folks around can rub two sticks and watch them turn to heat and light in the middle of the night to guide the way. But if you watch a good man do it, you'll be bound to say that we're all living their whole lives. Yeah, we're all living their whole lives to build a fire. You can learn a lot about a man by the way he builds a fire. You can learn to turn your head and walk away to go to sleep. But if you stay awake a little while, we can bust the night wide open, 'cause morning's just around the corner waiting there on me. 'Cause morning's just around the corner waiting there on me. Thank you. I have found my fire, and I must say that to me that is the most success that I will ever know. And my hope for you is that the next time you forget your homework or you drive a little fast, you don't hear the sound of those ringing bells and focus on your failure, but instead You wait for the silence to fall, and you begin to hear the air fill with the alarms that you have set off because you have found and built your fire. Thank you.